Now let me go to RIT. Now what I have in RIT here is, if you're looking at this Excel part of the document, is I have essentially, this is the same case where you have trading of the same security on two different markets. Now what I have done is, if you look at the top of the screen here, I have a ticker symbol. I extract that from RIT. You can see this, well, not in this case, that is just there. But I extract the, with the RTD function, I extract the best bid prices and ask prices, and also the size. So here, depth bid basically means this is the bid size that I have. So BSZ is the number of shares available at the best price. And the same you can do for asks, where you have the RTD function is for, for the ticker symbol crazy, what is at the best possible price, the ask price. You could have this actually at what's referred to different depths of the order book, where you basically would just use a comma and a number to look at one level down in the book, two level down in the book, and so on and so forth. And of course, here are the bid and ask prices. Okay, so you've seen this before in another example, so I'm not going to go through the details of where this comes about. And in class, you've already seen me use these specific formulas in such a way that you can, you can make a decision very simply by looking at only at the Excel file. In the last class, we didn't go to the point where you had to write a macro. In this class, we're going to do this, but I had a separate video on that, so I'm not going to explain it in this one. Suffice to say that I have made a button for myself, which basically means that when the situation arises where this number here, this is the bid price on market M minus the ask price on market A, is a positive number. That means that I can buy on market A for less money that I have to that I would be able to sell it for on market B. That is an arbitrage opportunity. If that's the case, what I want to do is I want to buy a certain number of shares on market A and sell them on market B. Now, therefore, I have written down also for myself, just to clarify my mind, the arbitrage strategy. So if this number is positive, then I would sell on market A, M, and I buy on market A. And here is the command. It's a button. If I click this button, it starts a particular function. Now the function that it starts is explained on the left-hand side here in the module. The function is called arb for arbitrage, and it is sell on market M and buy on market A. And you can see this is all the same as in the last video. We usually have to have this preface whenever we want to use RIT. So this dim API is RTI2.API, and so on and so forth. We have this dimension of the variable status that we use. We have to set it for variant. In fact, actually, it could be multiple different things. It could also be a number. Basically, what we're saying is we're agnostic to what it means. So then what I do is I have a particular set of commands that I send, namely because an arbitrage trade involves both buying and selling, and I don't want to do two things. I just want to do one operation with it. So I click one button for two trades. So what you have here is I add an order. I use add queued order. That's the same command as I said before. I'm using range of G7, which is G7 is this symbol here. This is for the strategy where I sell on market M and I buy on market A. So I use the ticker symbol that I put into this cell here. The amount that I'm trading is in this cell E7 here. And the price I set to 1 because I set a market order, so it doesn't really matter what the price is. And I'm making an API buy order. So I can write API buy. I can also just write 1. And it is a market order. So it's API.market. So that way, what this command here does, this one line, is it submits a buy order for me at a particular price for a particular security. And then I have, ignore the next line for 1 second. And also, when I click this button, I will also submit a sell order. And what that is for is the same, except that it's for the other ticker symbol, crazy M. So it means it sells on market M. and it is a sell order. It's the same quantity that I'm going to trade, and it is, you know, obviously it's a market order, so it trades in whatever price is available. Now, very briefly, let me go to the Excel spreadsheet for the quantity so you understand it. It essentially contains three numbers. It has the number 10,000, explain that in a sec. It has B4, which is the amount available on market A at the bid, right? So at the bid price is where I want to, as before actually, so it's, sorry, we look at the bid price on market M because we want to sell on market M, and we're looking at the ask on market A and the quantity available, which is here in cell E3. Now, when you want to make an arbitrage trade, you want to trade as much as you can. So now as much as you can means, but you have to have an offsetting quantity. So you want to have exactly the same amount that you buy or you can sell. So you have to pick the minimum of the two, right? Because if one has 200 and the other hand is 100, I cannot trade more than 100, say, at the bid. So if I would trade 200, then my arbitrage strategy may not work. Now I put the number 10,000 in there too, because the maximum order size is 10,000. And as if you look at the bids and ask prices carefully, you see that oftentimes the quantity available is larger than that. If you were to submit an order for a larger quantity, it would be ignored. So that for that reason, I put an extra qualifier in there. If the bid and the ask are both larger than 10,000, I would just trade the maximum quantity that I can have, which is 10,000. All right. So now, just so you see what, so now I said I want you to ignore the line here which starts with range something status. What that basically is, it says this statement here is range G3, which is over here, this yellow dot, will give me the status. Now the status for an add queued order is the order number that you have just used. So every time you send an order to the system returns a number for that particular order. This is not relevant for market orders, but if you put in a limit order, this is one way how you can keep track of your orders as they exist. All right, and then I did the same thing for the offsetting sell order. Now, just so you see how this works, if I press my, let me just move RIT a little down. If I press the button here, let's say to sell M and buy A, now this is not a profitable trade, or it would be now because it's positive. Sorry, but the amount was negative most of the time. Now what you can see here is I sold a particular quantity, so I get an amount, and I bought an offsetting quantity of the same size. And that was basically a transaction that I just completed. Okay, and so that essentially is how this particular buttons work and how you can make these particular offsetting trades in this for this simple case.